To paraphrase Idris Elba in Pacific Rim, soon we X-Men the apocalypse. Which is to say that X-Men Apocalypse is going to hit theaters on May 27th, 2016. Now, Bryan Singer's latest X-Men film is going to introduce us to an awful lot of new faces, some of which will be very familiar to comic book readers. One of the most prominent of said faces belongs to Olivia Munn, who will be portraying the psychic ninja assassin Psylocke. With her purple hair, psionic blades, and telepathic powers, Psylocke is understandably a fan favorite character. Her backstory, though, is more confusing than Kyle Hill's hair care routine, which is saying something. It's like 19 steps. So today on The Dan Cave, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about Psylocke before you see the movie. Created by Chris Claremont and Herb Trimpe in 1976, Psylocke made her comic book debut in Captain Britain #8, a series that only ran in the UK. Born Elizabeth Braddock, better known as Betsy, she grew up in Great Britain, became a charter pilot/model. What a career. Her twin brother Brian grew up to become Captain Britain, the superpowered defender of tea, crumpets, and all things Marmite. As for Betsy, she seemed to possess precognitive powers from an early age, which developed into full-fledged telepathy at age 16 because she's a mutant. Unbeknownst to either of them, their father, Sir James Braddock, was secretly from another dimension and sent to Earth by the sorcerer Merlin to raise superpowered defenders of the planet. You know, that old chestnut. While her brother was away at college rooming with Peter Parker of all people, Betsy dyed her hair purple and joined Strike, working in their Psi division. Strike is essentially the UK version of S.H.I.E.L.D., and she ran a number of Black Ops missions with the company. However, things got real nasty real quick when an alternate reality version of her brother tried to rape her, and she was forced to kill him in self-defense by psionically frying his brain. Her real brother showed up sometime after that because apparently he'd been in another dimension learning how to play snooker or something else deeply British. Anyway, he eventually decided to hang up his costume for a bit, and Betsy then became the new Captain Britain. She held this position until the villain Slaymaster savagely beat her and gouged her eyes out. Jesus. She survived by psychically calling out to her brother, who arrived in the nick of time, beat Slaymaster to death, and carried Betsy to the Swiss Alps to recuperate. But without eyes. I'm an only child, I'd be f***ed. Her official X-Men debut didn't come until 1986's New Mutants Annual #2. While convalescing, Betsy was kidnapped by intergalactic reality TV show impresario Mojo, who brainwashed her, gave her cybernetic eyes, and forced her to kidnap young mutants on the show Wild Ways, which is sort of like a messed up reverse version of To Catch a Predator. Yikes. Thankfully, Captain Britain and the New Mutants eventually rescued her and took her back to the X-Mansion, where she was able to recover for real. She stayed with the X-Men for a while, but didn't join the team in full until she proved her bravery by defending the X-Mansion from Sabretooth, which earned Wolverine's respect, a feat that is usually only accomplished by being a can of beer. When the evil Australian cyborgs known as the Reavers targeted the X-Men for death, Psylocke telepathically motivated the X-Men to step through the Siege Perilous, an extra-dimensional teleportation device that let those who pass through it start a new life. I need me one of those, seriously. Psylocke wound up as an amnesiac off the coast of China, where she was discovered by the ninja clan, the Hand. Now, they must have been listening to an awful lot of the Vapors because they turned her Japanese. No. Not like the song. The song is actually pretty gross. Literally, they swapped her soul with the East Asian assassin Quanon, or Quanon, I don't know how you pronounce it. It's a process that inadvertently blended their souls, giving them identical powers and memories. Now, our version of Psylocke was brainwashed, taken to Japan, and forced to fight as the assassin Lady Mandarin for a time until Wolverine restored her memories. I don't know how. Read the comic. Please note, this also explains how there have been both British and Japanese versions of Psylocke over the years. 2 bodies, 1 soul. I remember that video. Things got real weird when Psylocke rejoined the X-Men and started flirting with Cyclops. Now, Jean Grey was ready to lay the smackdown when Quanon, now calling herself Revanche, appeared in Betsy's old body. Each one claimed to be the real Psylocke, and they had a classic, I don't know which one to shoot moment. You, shoot them both. They both stayed with the X-Men for a time until Revanche revealed she had contracted the Legacy virus, which is essentially the mutant equivalent of mega cancer. The leader of the Hand, Matsuo Tsurayaba, mercy killed her, which restored Betsy's soul and let her keep some of those sweet martial arts ninja skills as well. Everything's coming up Psylocke. Now, like any comic book character worth her salt, Psylocke has died. multiple times. When Sabretooth gutted her like a fish, Wolverine, Archangel, and Doctor Strange retrieved a mystical liquid from the Crimson Dawn dimension, which gave her the power to teleport through shadows and a sweet new face tattoo. Oh, she's like Mike Tyson. She died again while fighting with Storm's extreme X-Men, getting murdered by the villain Vargas while on the hunt for Destiny's Diaries. Her insane brother Jamie Braddock brought her back to life using his reality warping powers, so it's all good in the hood. Again, I'm an only child. I'd be so screwed. Over the years, she's romanced everyone from Cable to Angel to Phantomax and has made Scott Summers drool enough to fill an Olympic-sized pool. But truth be told, Psylocke is a badass motherfucker who don't need no man. What she does need is to murder people. I guess that's better. Man, murder, who knows? Like, constantly. At least that's what she told Cable while they were running Mutant Black Ops missions with X-Force. But hey, I mean, everyone's addicted to something. Chocolate, Zumba classes, heroin, you name it. In addition to running with the X-Men and X-Force, she spent some time hopping between dimensions and LARPing Quantum Leap with the Exiles before eventually returning to the 616, which is Marvel's main comic verse. Currently though, Psylocke is on Magneto's new incarnation of the X-Men, swearing to protect mutant kind from any who would oppose it, which sounds like a pretty sweet gig. So what will we see in X-Men Apocalypse? Well, likely very little of this. We know that Psylocke is going to be one of Apocalypse's 4 horsemen, fighting alongside Magneto, Storm, and Angel. We also know she'll be slicing cars in half, which is either very, very cool, or a weird advertisement for Fiat. Either way, it's gonna be rad. But tell me, what version of Psylocke do you want to see? Would you want to see a Psylocke solo movie? What's your favorite Psylocke story? Let me know in the comments below, and while you're there, give me a very confusing and overwrought thumbs up. That's all for today's show. Join me next week when I talk about the fascinating true story of a shopping mall overrun by B. Arthur-loving assassins with a powerful appetite for Mexican food in Dawn of the Deadpool. Until next time, keep on digging. Now let's open up the old mailbag, shall we? Fox Dragon Films asks, which movie of 2015 will be most remembered in 10 years and why? Now I want to say Mad Max Fury Road, but the answer is Star Wars The Force Awakens, because we'll be on like episode 14 by then and still obsessed with BB-8, who by that point will have been revealed to be a gigantic hamster in a costume. Raheli Art asks, who would you want to write, star, and direct in a Dune reboot? 2 words, Tyler Perry. Just think about it. The Mediazats Haderach? Think about it. Come on, it's gonna be so good. Blue Lantern 18 asks, what's the best kind of burrito you've ever had? It's a real Sophie's choice. Probably carnitas. It's so good. Let me know what your ideal burrito is in the comments below.